2025. Day 33 of 1020. For me, it's day 33 of 1825, where I study the subject of leadership and bring you along for the journey. It has been exciting so far. You may be asking, why am I doing this? Why would I even put this on live? There's a few things, there's a few reasons. Number one, it's holding me accountable. Number two, I want to develop the characteristic of consistency. And number three, which is the overarching, the most important thing in my life, other than my family, of course, professionally, it is to lead 2,000 leaders who impact the world. That's what I truly believe. That's what I truly want to do. That's what all I put my focus into. So we've been studying leadership for the last, for now 333 days. This will be the 33rd day. We're on our third book, and we're taking our time to read these books because we don't want to just read them. We want to receive them. I like that. We don't want to just read them. We want to receive them. And this third book now is by John C. Maxwell, called Developing the Leader Within You 2.0. And every day I come on YouTube Live for 60 minutes to study the subject of leadership with you. So I encourage you to leave comments. Even if you just want to come in and say, hey, good to see you. I appreciate all of that. If you haven't liked and subscribed, been notified, put the notification bell, all that, do that now. Listen, we're on our way to 100 subscribers. Can you believe that? I just started this thing. We're on our way to 100 subscribers. So subscribe. I appreciate it. And I promise to keep coming every day studying the subject of leadership. Also have some things coming down the pike or down the road. We're going to start a podcast, all that. So be looking forward to that. Now, yesterday, we ended off on the point, the character of leadership, or character in leadership. And we're on page 49 of the book, Developing the Leader Within You 2.0. And we're going to pick up on there today. And it says this. Let's start reading. Character in leadership. In the lead up to my meeting with the pontiff, or the Pope, remember he's talking about Pope Francis here. He says, I read a lot about him. One of the articles I came across was by Gary Hamel, a management consultant and founder of Strategos. We'll go with Strategos. And the Harvard Business Review. Hamel wrote about a meeting Pope Francis had with a group of church leaders, in which he outlined the problems inherent in leadership. Once again, we study leadership every day for 1,825 days, and we're on day 33. That's 5 years. Why 5 years? Because I read in a book some time ago that if you study a subject for 1 hour a day for 5 years, you become either a leader or an expert in it. And that's what I desire to be. I want to be an expert in leadership so I can lead my team and make an impact in the world and in the lives of others. So he says he outlined the problems inherent in leadership. He called them diseases. There were 15 of them, and most of them dealt with character. And this is where we left off yesterday. So let's begin looking at these again. Let's read them. Okay, thinking we are immortal, immune, or downright indispensable, which is the enemy of humility and service. So we don't want to think that. These are things that we don't want to think, we don't want to have in our character. Excessive busyness, which leads to stress and agitation. Number 3 is mental and emotional petrification. And petrification is the state of being, or state of extreme fear, making one unable to move. So it's like being petrified. So when you're petrified, you can't move forward. You can't accomplish the dream. You can't accomplish your purpose because you're afraid of what maybe people will think. You're afraid of failing. You're failing. Maybe you don't think good enough about yourself. Maybe that's it. A lot of times I think that's the main thing. You don't think you're qualified or you're not good enough to do something. And that's petrification. It's a state of extreme fear, making one unable to move, and I'll add forward, to progress. He says, number 3 again, mental and emotional petrification, which creates heartlessness. No heart. I remember when you play sports, we would say you got to have heart. Have heart when you go out there, play football. You got to play with your heart. Basketball, play with your heart. Why? Because it means that you're giving everything you have. Number 4 is excessive planning and functionalism, which leads to inflexibility. Number 5, poor coordination, which fosters independence and lack of cooperation. Number 6, coordination, I should say, poor coordination, I guess it is, which fosters independence and lack of cooperation. Number 6, leadership, Alzheimer's disease. And these are characteristics that we do not want if we want to be exceptional leaders and have the character to lead others. And this one is leadership, Alzheimer's disease, where leaders forget who nurtured and mentored them. Number 7, rivalry and vainglory, where titles and perks become the leader's primary focus. Okay, that's a good one. We're not running after titles. We're not running after glory. We're running to impact the lives of others. We want to change people's lives. We want to help people. We want people to become who they're supposed to be, fulfill their potential, and that's what leaders are supposed to do. Number 8, existential schizophrenia, where leaders live hypercritical double lives. And I'll just remind you of the book that I'm reading. It's John C. Maxwell's Developing the Leader Within You 2.0. Existential schizophrenia, where leaders live hypocritical double lives. So that's important. That's integrity. So the life you live publicly should be the life you live privately. You don't want to put on a new face when you go out in front of people. One of the things I try to do, I try to be a person of joy. I try to be a person who is encouraging. One of the things I have to do privately is encourage myself and be joyful with my own life. I was thinking this yesterday. I was doing something I didn't particularly enjoy. And I said, you know what? Even though it's not the thing that I really wanted to do at that point, I said, my life is still far better than what it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. And my worst day, or this moment of not having this most enjoyable thing, is still better than what I had to go through years ago. And then at that point, it changed my paradigm. It changed the way I was thinking, and I began to get joy out of it and begin to just be happy. Like, thank God that I'm not where I used to be. Some of us have to be like that. But that's why I come on here every day smiling. I'm happy because I know where I've been. I know what I've gone through, and I know what it took to conquer it. And being in a position where I'm not in it anymore, man, I can always get joy from that and be thankful for that. Oh, so number 9, gossiping, grumbling, and backbiting, where cowardly leaders speak ill of others behind their backs. We have all had people speak ill behind our backs. We probably all spoke bad about people behind their backs. And we don't like the way it feels when people talk about us behind our backs. So as leaders, we should not be people who talk negatively about others behind their back. We shouldn't be people who grumble. And that's just being a person who complains. We're not going to be complainers. We know that according to this book, everything rises and falls on leadership. So if you're a leader, and you can change anything in your life that you don't like. You can make a decision today. And I know some people say that and you're like, well, no, you don't understand my situation. Listen, you don't understand what things I've been through either, but we can change, and we can change it with our attitude. The first thing we can change is our attitude and the way we think about things. It's like, you know what? This thing isn't going to defeat me. This thing is not going to overcome me. This thing is not going to conquer my life. I'm not going to let this thing beat me. As long as I have breath, I have fight. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep going. I am not going to allow this to be the thing that defeats me. I'm going to win. And you have to begin to make that decision in your mind, just like I have to make it in mine every day. I have to put on the mindset that I'm going to win, that I'm going to progress, that I'm going to move towards my goals. I am not going to allow certain circumstances or people to keep me from progressing. That's a decision we all can make. No matter where we are in life, no matter what we're up against, reading a book, getting good information, watching a good podcast that helps you in your field, going back to school, anything, getting more education, whatever you can do to move forward, you can make that decision. We don't have to stay in the position we are in. Thank you for the like already today. And some people say, well, I can't change my circumstances right now, but you can change your attitude. You can change the way you think. You can change your habits. Listen, I remember when I weighed 270 plus pounds, somewhere around there, because I stopped getting on the scale. And I felt defeated. I felt like I could never lose weight. I felt that I could never get my blood pressure down, or my triglycerides down, or my cholesterol down, or whatever else was high down. And I was like, you know what? I can change my habits. I can change the way I live. And I made a decision. I'm going to start eating better. Don't mean I'm eating perfect, but I'm getting there. I'm moving forward. I could go to the gym. I could walk. And I got a Fitbit. And I put a Fitbit on my arm, and I said, every day I'm going to walk at least 10,000 steps. Every day. And eventually, I was walking 10,000 steps without thinking. And now my Fitbit, I wore it out so much that I have to get a new one. So I'm going to get a new one soon. Hopefully, my wife might get it for me for Father's Day. But hopefully I get that. And then I said, when I get it, I'm going to a new goal to go to 15,000 steps every day. 15,000 steps every day. And some people will say, well, where did you start? How did you get there? It started with me saying, you know what? I'm just going to get up and I'm going to go walk on the treadmill. I'm going to go to the gym, lift some weights. I'm going to change my life. I do not have to be sick. I do not have to be lazy. I don't have to be these things. It was an attitude mind shift. And we can all do that. We can all make a decision. I can change my life no matter where you are. And you might be asking, oh, so where are you at now physically? Right now, I stay between 230, 240 pounds, but I'm about to make a next shift to bring myself down to about 210, 215-ish. We'll see. See how I feel when I get there. But it's a decision. Yes, sir, attitude is everything. It is. It is. How you look at things, how you view things makes a big difference on how your life will go. You can always find the silver lining. You can always find, I'm a pastor, you can always find what God has done good in your life. And then you can always think about what God is telling you to do now. What is he putting in front of you to conquer? What is he putting in front of you and say, hey, let's deal with that thing. Let's deal with that attitude. Let's deal with that anger. Let's deal with that unforgiveness. Let's deal with your past. All these things God will deal with you with and help you get through them. If you allow him, and if you make that decision, I'm going to get through this, I'm going to overcome it. But thank you for the comment there, B. Christie. Okay, number 10, here's another one. Idolizing superiors. We do not want these in our character. Idolizing superiors, where leaders honor superiors to gain favor and get ahead. So this is not just about honor, but it's idolizing. Like you're doing something, you're manipulating. And we don't want to manipulate people. We don't want to try to rub shoulders with people just to get ahead, trying to use them really. We don't do that as leaders. Number 12, downcast faces. See what this says. Where leaders treat their inferiors with sour severity. Wow, I like that. Downcast faces. So people who you think are below you, who you think are not as good as you. Oh, thank you for the 3 likes today. Who you think are not as good as you. You begin to look down on them. Listen, this is one thing I've learned. Everybody is important. Everybody should be viewed as valuable. Why? Because God made them. I told you I'm a pastor, so I can't help but that to come out. God made them. Number 2, listen, they've gone through things and they have to overcome things just to get to where they are in life. And they may not be where you are, but believe me, every person on this earth, in my opinion, this is my point of view, I believe every person is fighting to move forward. Some people even felt like, you know what? I don't even feel like fighting today. But they still get up and they still put their clothes on. They still put their pants on. They put their shirt on and they start moving towards something. It's like, and they're looking and they're hoping that something will change in their life. And it's like, we have to look at one another as valuable, no matter where they are in life. We can't look down on people. Everybody is valuable. Number 13, hoarding, which involves accumulating material goods to seek security. Wow, that's a good one as well. So if you were getting your value from the things you have, wow. If you're getting your value from the things you have, you are not living a valuable life. Wow, I like that. If you are getting your value from the things you have, you are not living a valuable life. You should be getting your value out of how you serve people, how you help people, going after your dream, going after the vision that God put in your heart, accomplishing the things, loving people. I'm telling you, this is why, listen, this is what came to my mind some time ago. The reason God or this is what I believe in God. I told you, pastor's gonna come out. God's gonna come. Listen, the reason I believe that God made our eyes to go forward and not to see ourselves, if we never had a mirror, we would never be able to see ourselves. Is because he never wanted us to keep our attention on ourselves. He wanted us to put our attention on others. See, that's good to me. That's what I truly believe. That's why God gave us eyes that look out and not look at ourselves. Of course, thankful for reflections that we get in the mirror because we can see what areas we need to fix in our lives. But we should be putting more of our attention on what God is put in our heart to accomplish and to help others than to put all of our attention on ourselves and what we can accumulate. You know what? Thank God for the new car. Thank God for the nice thing that you have. Thankful for all those nice stuff that you have in your life. But they're not what make you valuable. They're not what makes you valuable. You were valuable before you had all of those things. And if no one has ever told you that, let me be the first to tell you, you are valuable. And don't allow anyone to make you feel that you're less than because you don't have the car or you don't have the house or you don't have the thing. You are valuable because you have something on the inside of you that others need. You are talented. You have intelligence. I mean, you have something that you can give to others. And that's what I would focus your life on. If I was you, I would focus your life on giving that to other people. And that is my 2 cents of the day. All right, number 14, closed circles, where leaders place their clique ahead of shared identity and cooperation. Wow, let me read this again. Closed circles, where leaders place their clique ahead of shared identities and cooperation. So okay, I get it what he's saying. At least this is from my point of view, where you're not allowing others to come in. You won't listen to anyone else. You won't be open to others' criticism and positive criticism. We don't do negative criticism, but positive criticism, you won't put yourself in a position where you listen to people unless that are outside your circle. Okay, I get that. So we don't want that part of our character. And number 15, extravagance and self-exhibition, where leaders seek greater power and recognition. That's a good one too. And why am I expounding on all these? Because like I said, this is not about just reading a book. This is about receiving what I'm hearing so I can put it into my life and put it into practice. And hopefully you'll do the same. So we shouldn't be people who seek greater power and recognition. It doesn't mean that you're not progressing and that you're not pushing towards what God put in your heart or you're not being ambitious. It just means that you know that doors will open up for you. So you don't have to force them open. You don't have to make someone do. This is like goes back to what he said here, where you're trying to rub shoulders with the right people, befriend the right people so they can help you get ahead. It's like, no, that's not what we do. We do our job, we do it well, and we progress. Okay, let's continue reading. I found this list quite insightful to hear that Pope Francis has dealt with all kinds of leaders during a long career of service. And the list prompted me to examine my own character. Oh, we're past the 15-minute mark. So let me remind you, if you have not liked or subscribed, we are on the road to 100 subscribers, and you can be part of that. You could be one of the 100. I would appreciate you if you did that today. It would help this channel grow, help us to reach more people, and teach them leadership and impact their lives. So, if you will, so kindly hit that subscribe button today. He says, am I a healthy leader? I wondered. I read a list of questions included in the article that were designed to help with the self-examination process, which asked, to what extent do I, here we go, these are questions, feel superior to those who work for me, demonstrate an imbalance between work and other areas of life, substitute formality for true human intimacy. Wow, that's a good one. Rely too much on plans and not enough on intuition and improvisation. One of those is probably right. Spend too little time breaking silos and building bridges. Wow. Fail to regularly acknowledge the debt I owe to my mentors and to others. That's why I hate that idea of self-built or self-made. I'm a self-made this. I'm a self-made that. I did this all by myself. Or like what the young guys say? They say, I got this out the mud. It's like, hold on, you did not do anything by yourself. Someone helped you. Someone taught you how to walk. Someone taught you how to talk. Someone taught you your ABC. Someone taught you your 1, 2, 3. Someone taught you work ethic. Everything we are today is because someone taught it and we caught it. So that's a good one. Failing to regularly acknowledge the debt I owe to my mentors and to others. Take too much satisfaction in perks and privileges. Isolate myself from customers and first-level employees. So these are the things that we have to examine ourselves in as leaders. Put my own success ahead of the success of others. Wow. Fail to cultivate a fun and joy-filled work environment. Exhibit selfishness when it comes to sharing rewards and praise. So you want to take all the praise for yourself. Encourage, this is a word I've never seen before. Oh, maybe I did. Parochialism rather than community. Hold up. Hey, let me see what this word parochialism means. You may know what it means. I don't, so I got to look it up. Let me see. Parochialism. I've heard of it before, but I've never defined it. Okay, let me see what it says here. Okay. Parochialism, for those who have never defined this word as well, is a limited or narrow outlook, especially focused on a local area, narrow-mindedness. So you're narrow-minded. I've heard that before, your narrow-minded self. I don't know if you ever said that, but in my culture, I've heard that before. I've been told that I was narrow-minded. This was years ago when I was in my childhood, my adolescence. So encourage parochialism rather than community. So it's everything, you're trying to do everything yourself instead of adding people to your group. Behave in ways that seem egocentric to those around you. So narcissistic, everything's about you. It's about you being big, being egotistic. In fact, there's this young man I know. Oh man. When I see him, man, all he can talk about is himself the whole time. I mean, he talks about everything good in his life. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You know what? I'm doing this on the. I'm like, man, he didn't even ask me how my day was. But I've grown to accept it because he's young, he's immature. But That's what he's talking about. A leader is not someone who is so self-focused and not focused on those around him. So self-aware. All right, let's continue. Questions like these heighten my awareness of the need to keep improving my character, especially in the context of leadership, because the heightened influence of leaders magnifies their impact on others, both positively and negatively. The reality is that leading ourselves is often the most difficult task we can face every day. Oh, I got to say that again for the people in the back. The reality is that leading ourselves is often the most difficult task we ever face. Isn't that the truth? You can tell somebody very easily how to fix their problems. If you did this, and this, your life would change. But then you look in the mirror and say, hold on, I got some issues in my own life that I could fix in the next 30, 60, 90 days. Why is it that these problems have been with me for years? 6 months, I could change my life. I can change my money habits. I can change my mental habits. I can change my attitude. I can do all these things. Why is it that it's harder to lead myself than to tell others what to do? The reality is this. What did we learn? I said, we talk about this. Practice what you preach. I got to read that sentence one more time. The reality is that leading ourselves is the most difficult task we face every day. In fact, today, while I was getting myself ready, got from the gym, because like I said, every day I go to the gym for at least 20 minutes. That's every day. Don't miss any days, because I've learned that if I miss days, then I might miss 2 days and 3 days, and next thing you know, it's been a week. So I go to the gym every day for at least 20 minutes, whether that is to walk, whether it is to work out, lift some weights, whatever it is, I do it. That's a goal I put in my heart. And I've been doing that for the last, for some time now. And I said, I have to do so. But while I was preparing myself today, I was like, am I wasting time right now? Because I was just taking too long to get things done. So am I wasting time right now? Why am I wasting time? Why? And I began to think about that. And we learned about this yesterday, creating margin to reflect and think about what you're doing. Why are you doing things the way that you're doing? Why is this a habit? Why hasn't this changed in your life? Why do you do these things? And I learned, I said, you know what? I need to have a schedule. I need a better schedule. And I need someone to help me. So I'm going to actually, I don't know if my wife is watching today or if she will watch this, but she's going to be helping me to keep myself on task. You need to have somebody in your life who you can be accountable to. And one of the things I was thinking, I said, if she has to be rough with me and say, hey, this is what you said you want to do, get it done. I'm gonna give her up. Like, say what you got to do to get it, because I want to progress. How bad do you want to progress? And I think she would probably like it anyway. We'll see. The reality is that leading yourself is also always more difficult than anything else. Okay. It's much easier to tell others what to do than to do it yourselves. There it is. We see it. I know that's true for me. To keep myself on track, let me hear how he does it. Oh, you watching? Oh, man, I didn't know it. Okay. Well, good to see you on there, boo. Booski. Love you, girl. Okay. To keep myself on track, I must continually remind myself why character is so important. Since I am a person of faith, I have discovered wisdom from Scripture. So have I. Related to character. I found the following list in Dave Cadely's leadership resource. Oh, LOL, I will, and I love you. Thank you. Thank you, boo. Leaders resource kit. Now let's look what he says. If you don't connect with these thoughts or are offended by them, please feel free to skip past them. Well, I'm not offended by Scripture, so let's look at it. Our hearts can be deceptive. We can so easily seek leadership office for the wrong reasons. That's true. Character is the area that will face the greatest attack. Wow. Character is foundational to Christian leadership. Without character, we struggle with the temptations that come with skill, talent, and gifting. Wow, that's so great. Think about all of this. Like, if you think about all of these people that are celebrated, popular, and because they're gifted, they're talented, they're skillful, but they didn't develop their character, they fell into that temptation. So one of the prayers I used to pray, and I need to start praying it again, but Lord, I would pray, I said, God, don't just give me what I'm praying for. Give me the character to keep it. Give me the character to keep it. Because I've watched so many people who have gone to a pinnacle in life. They've reached what many people would deem success. And because they did not have the character, they initially fell. Or not eventually, I said initially, but eventually fell. And I do not want to fall once I get something. Once I get a nice thing or get the thing that I've been praying for or the thing that I desire, I do not want to lose it because I did not have the character to keep it. So I'll read that again. Without character, we struggle with temptations that come with skill, talent, and gifting. It is so easy to slip into a life of hypocrisy and forget that we will have to give an account for it one day. Whoa, buddy. We naturally neglect this part of focus on others' developments. Okay, let's say it like this. So it's in context. We naturally neglect character and focus and let me see. We naturally neglect this part and focus on other development. Okay, I get it now. We naturally neglect character and focus on other developments. So, for example, we focus a lot of times on getting the money, getting the thing, but we haven't we have neglected developing character. So we have to make that a priority in our lives. Develop the character. For example, are you a liar? Are you a person who lives in the gray areas? Are you a person who says something and doesn't do it? This is one of the reasons why I put this on live, because I said to myself for 1,000 days or 1,825 days, I want to study the subject of leadership. And I want to do it consecutively. I want to do it without missing any days. I want to do that. That's my goal. But I said I need something to hold me accountable. How do I hold myself accountable? And I said every day I'm going to get on YouTube Live for 1 hour and I'm going to study leadership. And that is a way that has been holding me accountable. And now we're 33 days straight into this without missing one day. And like I said, I don't have a time yet that I do it every day. So I just come on one time during the day. So that's why I say put your notification bell on so you'll know when I'm doing it. So, hey, you can check in time from here and there to see, is he still being consistent? Because I do not want to be a person who tells people to follow me and I cannot lead myself. I'm not committed to what I say. We soon discover that strength of character is what will count in hard times. Ain't that something? Working on my character is a never-ending yet totally worthwhile effort. Mahatma Gandhi said, "A man of character will make himself worthy of any position he is given." Wow. I want to be a worthy leader, yet I know I sometimes fall short. I want to improve my character and encourage you to improve yours, not because it gets me what I want, but because it helps me to be what I want. Wow. And I find that the more I focus on valuing people, practicing self-leadership, and embracing good values, the stronger my character becomes. Whoa, I like that. I like that. I told you I need to make a t-shirt that says I like that, because I say that when I say that a lot. I like that. Okay, I gotta write that down. Focus. I guess that's my nugget of the day, the thing that really popped out to me today. Focus on valuing people, practicing, man, this is good. Practicing self-leadership, and embracing good values, the stronger my character becomes. Man, I like that one. See, it's not about you. It's not all about you becoming better. When you become better, you help others become better. Not only that, you impact their lives. Oh man, it's so good. All right. We're a little over halfway through. If you haven't liked and subscribed this page, go ahead and do that for the next 1,825 days, or I'm in the 1,825 days. I will be studying the subject of leadership for 1 hour a day, and I'm bringing you along for the journey. And I'm working my way to 100 subscribers right now. So if you haven't subscribed, take a moment and hit that subscribe button. It'll help this channel grow and help people develop their character. Okay, let's keep going. The next point he has here is character value statements. Having good character does not ensure that you will be successful in life or leadership, but you can be sure that having poor character will eventually derail you personally and professionally. Now, listen about this, and I'm not trying to come against anybody, but I got to say this. Think about this Diddy thing going on right now. P. Diddy, you would say he had everything that you could want in the world. He had fame, money, notoriety. I mean, you would think that he had it all. And what happened? Listen what it says here. Having good character does not ensure that you will be successful in life or leadership, but you can be sure that having poor character will eventually derail you personally or professionally. And that's the sad thing, that you can have talent, skills, gifts that can get you to the pinnacle of what we would think life is all about. But if you don't have character, a fall is eventually going to happen. A fall is eventually going to happen. This is why the Bible, I'm not sure if it's exactly said like this, but it said, what is it? Yeah, it is. What is it to gain the world and lose your soul? What is it to gain everything, to have the car, to have the houses, to have the property, to have the notoriety, to have people, to be popular, to be celebrated by others, but not have the character to keep it? Lord help us. All right. Continue. Here's the good news. If your character is not what you want it to be, you can change it. And I would add, don't wait to change it. Don't wait to change it. Change it now. Don't wait to change your character. Don't wait to become a person of integrity. Don't wait to become a person who has a good attitude. Don't wait to be a person who thinks good thoughts and thinks hopeful things. Don't wait to be a person who changes to speak positive words and doesn't gossip about people. Don't wait. Develop that character. You can change it today. You can write down, I am not going to do these things anymore. You can change it. And it brings me back to this idea with Diddy. I said Diddy changed his name to Love, but it was like a little too late, bro. You done hurt some people. You hurt people in a major way from allegedly. And I said, but why? Let's change it now. Let's change our character now. It doesn't matter what has happened in your past. You can choose a better path moving forward starting today. As one of my favorite sayings goes, though you cannot go back and make a brand new start, my friend, anyone can start from now and make a brand new end. Whoa, I like that. Let me say that one more time. Though you cannot go back and make a brand new start, my friend, anyone can start from now and make a brand new end. Here are 3 great reasons why good character is worth pursuing. Here's 3 good reasons. Let's look at it. Number 1, good character builds strong trust. Recently, I asked a small group of executives to list the names of the top 3 people they trusted. Family and friends were on everyone's list. Amazingly, no one named a leader or a coworker as one of their top trusted people. I then asked them to list 3 people on whom their well-being and happiness depended. Everyone named either their boss or a coworker. Wow. Then I asked one more question. If I were doing this exercise with your subordinates and I asked them to create their most trusted list, would they name you as one of their 3 most trusted people? There was a murmur that got their attention. What difference might it make if we were someone they put on their list? Wow. That's pretty good. Let me read that again. He says, I ask one more question. If I were doing this exercise with your subordinates, and I asked them to create their most trusted list, would they name you as one of their 3 most trusted people? That got their attention. What a difference it makes. Or what difference might it make if you were one or someone they put on their list? Man, that's good there. Ooh, I hit my thing. Let me calm this down. All right. The consensus was that if people trusted their coworkers and leaders, the working environment would be more positive, people would be more productive, and turnover would be reduced. That's consistent with my own observation that people quit people, not companies. The greatest cause of turnover in organizations is lack of trust. Stephen M. R. Covey, in his book, The Speed of Trust, pointed out how low trust costs time and money, and he used a fantastic example to illustrate it. After the 9/11 terrorist attacks, the nation's trust in flight security went down. Covey said that before the attacks, he could arrive at his home airport 30 minutes before his flight and have no problem making it quickly through security. However, after the TSA tightened security, he had to arrive 2 hours ahead of domestic flight departures and 3 hours ahead for international flights. As trust went down, he said, speed also went down and cost went up. Wow. Too often we talk about trust as if it is a singular thing. It is not. Trust is a relationship between a truster and a trustee. Just as it takes 2 to tango, it takes 2 to trust. I like that. The role of the truster is to take the risk of trusting. The role of the trustee is to be trustworthy. When both people do their parts well, the result is a trusting relationship. And trust doesn't just go in one direction. The people exchange roles. The trustee becomes the trustor and vice versa. It's a two-way street, but if either party fails in his or her responsibility, trust disappears. Isn't that something? Author James N. Cousy and Barry Z. Posner explain the importance of the development of trust in leaderships. Now, if you've been with me, we've read their names in other books. So we're seeing several people, but we're seeing this. In the final analysis, only you can decide whether it takes the risk of trusting others and whether the risk is worth taking. This means to have others trust you, you must actively take some initiative and can't wait for others to make the first move. As many leaders explain, trust is a risk game. Leaders must be the first ones to ante up. Leaders always find the ante worth risking. Sowing seeds of trust with people creates the fields of collaboration necessary to get extraordinary things done in organizations. That was good. All right, let's continue. Oh, let me let you know this. We're on our road to 100 subscribers. If you have not subscribed to this channel, I encourage you to do so. For the next 1,000, I'm on day 33 of 1,825, where I study the subject of leadership for 1 hour a day, right here on YouTube Live. Why am I doing this? Number one, I want to be a great leader. But this is helping me to be accountable and to be consistent. And I'm bringing you along on a journey. So if you would, subscribe. This will help this channel grow. We also have some things coming soon that are going to be exciting. So keep coming back every once in a while to check on me and see how my progress is going. I appreciate you. Have a great day. Okay, let's get it going. For years, I have taught leaders that in their interactions with others, they create accounts of trustworthiness. Every interaction with another person either makes deposits in that person's account or makes withdrawals from it. The best way to make regular ongoing deposits is by modeling good character consistently. Wow, that's good. I wish I would have known this in my teenage years, because that's another day. Let's keep going. Why? Because people are convinced more by what a leader does than by what a leader says. That's a good one. People are convinced more by what a leader does than what a leader says. Isn't it amazing that you can have someone be a leader? People will follow you because they see what you're doing. And one time you mess up and they're gone forever. Rightfully so. But that's why leadership is so important and why developing character is as important. Because what is influence without character? What's influence without integrity? If you don't have the integrity, then people may follow you because you're skillful, you're talented, you're charismatic, but when they find out that you don't have integrity, they will still leave you and forget and take with them what they learned and just never come back. So develop the character. I find myself agreeing with the idea expressed by industrialist and philanthropist Andrew Carnegie, who said, "As I grow older, I pay less attention to what men say. I just watch what they do." Sheesh. As I grow older, I pay less attention to what men say, and I just watch what they do. Words can be cheap. Journalist Arthur Gordon was right when he said, "Nothing is easier than saying words. Nothing is harder than living them, day after day." Whoa, that's a good one too. Nothing is easier than saying words. Nothing is harder than living them day after day. Consistency is incredibly difficult. My wife and I were talking about consistency this morning, and I was going to the gym, and then I said, I got to do this hour afterwards. So I'm like, consistency is incredibly inconvenient. I would rather had stayed home, ate me some bacon, eggs, some grits. Some of y'all don't know nothing about them grits. I would rather have stayed home, ate some bacon, eggs, and grits than go to the gym and then read for an hour on Facebook Live to people that I may never see. But because I value progress, I value you more than I value what I want to do. And I said, I have to do this. I have to do this. It's worth it. It's worth it to progress. But this he said, listen what he said again. Nothing is easier than saying words. Nothing is harder than living them day after day. How many of us have made decisions? You know what? I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm not going to eat bad food anymore. It was easy to say that. It took 10 seconds to say that. But it takes a lifetime to do it. Me saying I'm going to read for 30 minutes a day study for 30 minutes a day on the subject of leadership for 1,825 days. I said it took me 5 seconds to say that. But it will take 1,825 25 hours to do it. 5 years. And I remember after I said this and I started doing it around day 10, I said, what in the world did I just do? Why did I say that I want to do this for an hour a day, that I'm going to do this for an hour a day for 1,825 days? Why would I say I'm going to get on Facebook Live, embarrass myself, and study the subject of leadership in front of people for 1,825 days consecutively? That's the goal, consecutively. And it says, nothing is easier than saying words. Nothing is harder than living them day after day. And I said, I want to be consistent. Saying I'm going to get up and go to the gym every day for 20 minutes, every day, no days off, for at least 20 minutes. So why did I make that? Because I know what I want. I know what I'm going after. I know what I want. See, I want to walk. I want to be there to see my great-great-grandchildren. And I want to dance at their wedding. I want to see them get married. I want to dance at their wedding. So I said, if I got to work out every day for 20 minutes a day, if I have to eat a better diet for every day in order for me to get to that goal, I'm willing to do it. God willing. Thank you. God willing. I know. And I said, the goal has to be so worth it. What you want has to be so worth it that you're willing to be inconvenienced by consistency. Man, that was a good quote, Clay. I need to write that down. The goal has to be so worth it that you're willing to be inconvenienced by consistency. What is it that you want so much that you're saying, I'm willing to inconvenience my life to get it? I'm willing to be inconvenienced in my eating habits. If I got to be inconvenienced in eating this type of food until I get that goal, what is it? I'm telling you, a leader understands that they have to be willing to be inconvenienced by consistency. I have to get up and be a person of character. I can't just cuss people out anymore. Oh yes, some people deserve to be cussed out. But when you value people, and you say, I want to treat people the way I want to be treated, because I'm sure there'll be times when I will do something to somebody because I'm not perfect, and I would deserve to be cussed out. I may cut somebody off in traffic. But guess what I want? I want them to give me mercy. I want them to give me grace. I want them to be kind to me even when I make a mistake. So now I have to be that type of person. I have to have that type of attitude. You know, we have to make a decision that whatever the goal is that we want, and it should be a big goal, it should be something that's audacious, something that requires for you to change in order to go after it and receive it. You have to make a decision. Okay, now who do I have to be to get it? Do I have to stop eating these type of foods? Do I have to stop hanging out with these type of people? And I want to hang around with them. Do I have to stop taking certain meetings? Do I have to shut my door? For example, when it's time for me to study for my job, my profession, I shut the door and I tell my children, because I work from home, tell my children, when you see that door shut, don't come in. I have to, I want to speak with you. I want to be with you. My daughter is the most beautiful little girl I have ever seen in my life. And I told her, when my door's open, she comes in. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. She'll come in, she'll sit on my lap, and I'll tell her, you are a beautiful inconvenience. You are more important than whatever I'm doing right now. But then when I shut that door, it means I need to put 100% focus into what I'm doing. I need to put 100%, you have to make these decisions for your life. Right now, my door up there is shut. I have this hour. I have to focus in on this hour. When it's time for me to study later, I have to focus in. When it's time for me to prep for my message, it's time. I got to shut the door. You have to make these decisions. What are you willing to be inconvenienced with in order to consistently go after your goal? Oh man, I felt good about that. That was pretty good to me. Nothing is easier than saying words. Nothing is harder than living them day after day. Amen to that. What you promise today must be renewed and redecided tomorrow and each day that stretches out before you. Wow. That's why in leadership, a print of example equals a gallon of advice. Oh, I said print. Oh, that's why I meant. That's why in leadership, a pint of example equals a gallon of advice. So your example is worth much more than your advice. Your example is much more than your advice. Okay. In the beginning of a relationship, words hold more weight than actions. Because people do not know how, they may assume that your words represent who you are and that your walk matches your talk. Okay, let me say that again. In the beginning of a relationship, words hold more weight than actions. Because people do not know you, they may assume that your words represents who you are and that your walk matches your talk. However, as the relationship continues, your actions begin to weigh more than your words. People see what you do. Leadership confusion occurs when your words and your walk do not match. Wow. Leadership confusion occurs when your words and your walk do not match. If that congruity continues, no one will you confuse. Now, oh, excuse me. Let me go back. Rewind. If that congruity continues, not only will you confuse your people, you will lose your people. You have to be a person of your word. Mark Twain was right on when he said, "To do right is wonderful. To teach others to do right is even more wonderful and much easier." Easier, yes. More efficient, no. At the opposite end of the spectrum from inconsistency and broken trust is moral authority. That is the highest level of leadership. It is earned by demonstrating consistently good character and continually making deposits into trustworthiness accounts with others. Charisma may get leaders to follow you early on, but only credibility prompts people to keep following you. When leaders possess true moral authority, the only words they need to say are "follow me," and people join them. Wow. Well, as you know, the last minute of, or as you should know now, the last minute of this leadership time, the study of leadership, I spend praying for the people who watched. The people who watched today. I thank every person, every like, every subscriber, every commenter, whether they're good or bad comments. I appreciate everyone who has taken a moment out of their life to spend time with me today. So let me pray for you. Father, I thank you for every person that's watching today. Father, I thank you that you have a call on their life, a purpose for their life. Father, you know the struggles. You know the things that they're up against. You know the odds that are against them. Father, but help them to see that you will help them, that you'll bring people around them to support them, and that whatever is in their life that they're up against, they will have victory over. In Jesus' name, amen. Until tomorrow, keep enjoying life.